Hello everyone, my name is Chloe and today I am here with a brand new video. Welcome to Brunette Bibliophile, where I post bookish videos and writing content. Today I am here with an Unhinged book haul. So it has been a few months since I posted my last haul, but I haven't been acquiring as much between hauls as I used to until this one. So when I was on vacation for BookNet Fest, my friends Desiree, Kathleen, and myself went to a local bookstore in Orlando, and guys, not that my husband watches these videos, but he does not need to know how much I spent at this bookstore. So in addition to all of those books, I also have some Book of the Month books and some other various books that I've acquired since my last haul. I don't know how many there are. I'm not going to count because I'm scared, but I have separated it into read versus unread, and the unread pile is very large, and that does nothing for my physical TBR sanity. So we're going to jump right in and get started, and we're actually going to start with the read books since it's a much smaller pile. So the first one is a Book of the Month pick from my April box, and it is Anna Maria and the Fox by Liana de la Rosa. You may have seen me talk about this a little bit when I read the book. This is the first in a Regency romance with a Mexican heiress and a London socialite. He's not even really a socialite, I think he's like a diplomat. The point is, it's kind of a new spin on the Regency era romance, and I'm interested to see what the rest of the series does. I will link my wrap up to the month that I read this book because this one was kind of just okay for me, but I'm intrigued enough to see what the second book does. Next, I have Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Chloe, why do you have two copies? I'm glad you asked. I'm insane. So I have a regular copy that I had pre-ordered from Amazon months ago, and then Barnes & Noble had a pre-order sale, and I got the Barnes & Noble edition. I found out that the bonus content is her pairing Taylor Swift songs to all the chapters of her book, and I'm like, obviously this is for me. So I have two copies. I decided not to cancel the Amazon one because I'm going to annotate this one with Desiree from Libri Labra, and now I just have two. So we're just going to move on from that fact. Next, I have My Favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren. This is the repackaged new cover edition, and I do have the old cover, but I purchased the new one because Christina Lauren came on tour to my city, and I wanted to get the new cover signed because this is one of my top two Christina Lauren books, the other one being In a Holidays, and I am just very excited. I love the new covers that they're doing with all of their books. But I just wanted to make sure I had my favorite one. The first one in all the piles to come from the bookshop from BookNet Fest, or when I was at BookNet Fest, is The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. This is a husband and wife duo who writes romance books, and I'm totally here for it. I read this one about a year ago, and I really enjoyed it, so when I saw it for super cheap, I decided to pick it up. I have yet to read anything else by them, though, which is a tragedy on my end, so I definitely need to start picking up other books by them. And then I have It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This came from the book swap that was at BookNet Fest. I brought 4 books to swap, and this was one I decided to pick up. There were only about 4 books that I wanted from the swap, and this one I had already read before. This is definitely a Tessa Bailey that I would not buy on my own, so since it came from a swap, I was cool with it. And now we are moving on to the 2 piles that are unread. Let's jump right in and get started. The first one is the second book that I got from my April Book of the Month, which is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld, and I'm excited to pick this up for obvious reasons, but I've never read anything by this author before, so I'm intrigued to see if I enjoy the writing style. And then from my May box, we have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I love Abby Jimenez. She's one of my auto-buy authors, and this is following a character that we met in Part of Your World, which was her previous book, and I'm very excited to pick this one up and see if I enjoy it with that same Abby Jimenez magic. This next book I got from Desiree from Libri Labra, and I understand that it is a romance, so I'm interested. And it is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I just read the back and apparently it has Grumpy Sunshine, so 1000% here for it. I don't know anything about this book because I didn't know it was a romance until Desiree told me, so I'm very excited to pick this up. I think I'm going to save it for around Halloween time just to kind of get the fall vibes with the season, and I'm excited. And next I have 2 copies of The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. So how this came about is I have an ARC that my friend gave me, and I did take this and got signed at the tour stop, but then the ticket for the tour stop also came with a hardcover copy of the book, so now I have 2. I'm leaning more towards this one because it's paperback and will match all my others, but my problem is it's not the same height as all the others, so it's still gonna look a little weird, but it's fine. Everything's fine. I have heard amazing things about this book, and I am so excited to pick it up. I don't know if I'm gonna do a reread of The Soulmate Equation, probably not, but I'm so excited. I've heard great things. And then sticking on the Christina Lauren train, I have Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren. I'm pretty sure that this is the first book that they published, and it is the first in a series. And I decided to pick it up because I have never read either of their series that they have, which means my backlist technically is not complete with Christina Lauren. And I got this to get signed at the signing. Next, I have another Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and it is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is Carly Fortune's new release, and I am so excited to pick this up because Every Summer After was probably one of my favorite reads of 2022, and probably one of my favorite reads of all time. And that was her debut, so I'm very excited to see if I enjoy this one, and I really hope I do. Next, I have Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. I did haul this on TikTok when I posted a vlog from Independent Bookstore Day. So I got this from my local indie. And then from my local library, I picked up My Oxford Year by Julia Whalen, who is one of my favorite audiobook narrators. And she also writes books, and I read Thank You for Listening last year, so this is the only other one I haven't read, I believe. I think she only has the 2 out, and I found it for $1, so I definitely wanted to pick it up. Alright, and now we have our last stack of unread books. Almost all of these came from BookNet Fest weekend, whether it was from their giveaway table, the book swap, or that bookstore that I went to. There's only a couple of exceptions in here. So these next 2 books I did not get at the same time, but they are by the same author, which is why I'm going to talk about them. The first one is I'm in Love with Mothman by Paige Lavoie, and this one I picked up in the vlog for the Orlando Book Festival day. I'll link that video in the description below if you want to check that one out. But this author also happened to be at BookNet Fest as a signing author, and I picked up her new YA, Our Own Little Underworld, and this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. So 2 books that I'm very excited about. The vibes are all here for me. I understand that Mothman is a little bit spicy, so I'm very excited. These next 5 books came from the giveaway table, and basically how that table worked is anytime you asked a question during a panel, you got a ticket to go pick something off of the giveaway table. So I was very outgoing in my questions, but also very curious and wanting to know more about the different panel subjects. So we're going to talk about these. The first one I got is Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly, and I was trying to think of where I had heard this name before, and that is because I have Love and Other Disasters, which was in Book of the Month. So this is a new book by this author. I don't know anything about it. I honestly didn't even know it came out. But it's also blurbed by Ashley Herring Blake, who I've read 2 of their books from. So this next one was actually one of the last books that I had gotten from the giveaway table, so there wasn't much left at this point. But it's called Purity by Skyler Mason, and the only reason that I picked this up is because of the tagline right here, which says, "She asked me to make her impure." And that's all I'm going to say about this one. Then I have A Lakeside Reunion by C. Chalove. And this is actually set in Mount Dora, Florida, where I have been once because a sushi restaurant I really like is there. But it is a romance set in my state, so definitely interested in checking that out. This was also one of my last choices. My plan with this one was if I didn't get it from the table, I was going to pick it up from the library. But, you know, the fates aligned, and here we are. Next, I have Jonah Goes Wild by Farah Haron, and this author has written another book called Accidentally Engaged, which I've seen before, but I've never read it, never read anything by this author. And this is a rom-com with lots of family and friends involved, and it looks like it is centered around a wedding. This cover is so interesting that the cover does not match the synopsis on the back for me, so I'm definitely intrigued to see why there is a giraffe and an elephant on this cover. Next, I have 2 books by Kennedy Ryan. The first one is Before I Let Go, and I have heard so many amazing things about this book. It was from Book of the Month, I believe, but I did not pick it up. But I've heard a lot of amazing things, so when I saw it at the giveaway table, I did decide to get a copy. And then the other one that came from the book swap is Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, and this one is it says it's a hoops novel, but it is a basketball sports romance. I feel like these are two vastly different books, but I've never read anything by Kennedy Ryan before, so I'm excited to see if I enjoy their work. So these next three all came from the book swap as well. The first one is Out of Love by Hazel Hayes, and I've seen this cover a little bit going around. I didn't know too much about it, but since it was from the book swap, I was intrigued enough to pick it up. And it looks like it could be a bit of a heart-wrenching book as well, just based off of the first sentence of the synopsis. So this next one I got from the swap, I actually almost bought it at that bookstore the day before, and I'm really glad I didn't. But it is Natalie Tan's Book of Luck and Fortune by Roselle Lim, and she's written 3 books that I have seen going around. This was the first one, I believe, and I don't think it's a romance, but it's definitely a contemporary. The cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I am excited to see if I enjoy this author's work. And then the last one from the book swap is The Unplanned Life of Josie Hale by Stephanie Edding. And this one I've actually seen at the library a bit recently, so I definitely wanted a chance to pick this one up, and I really hope I enjoy it. Next, I have The Boyfriend Project by Farah Rochon. This is the first in a companion series, and I accidentally bought the second one a couple of months ago, and the way my brain works is I just have to read them in the publication order. So I saw this one and picked it up, so now I can actually read those 2 books, although nothing was stopping me from getting this from the library, just I kept forgetting. And then I have Super Fake Love Song by David Yoon. I had been looking for a hardcover of this book for a little bit because I have the hardcover of his first book. This is a young adult, and I'm kind of backing away from young adult a little bit, but I did enjoy Frankly in Love, so I'm interested to see what his sophomore novel is all about. All right, last 2 from the bookstore. We have We Can't Keep Meeting Like This by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I really enjoy her adult romance books, and I have read one of her young adult, although in my opinion it was more a new adult book. And I have 2 others that I have not read by her, which is this one and Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow. I am very excited to pick this one up. It's such a cute little cover. I don't know if it's going to be more new adult than young adult, but we shall see when the time comes. And then I have Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. Alexis Hall publishes so many books that I cannot keep up with all of them, but this is one that's been on my wish list and on my Goodreads for a little bit, so when I saw it, I decided to pick it up. But again, they have so many books out, I cannot keep up with all of them. So hopefully I enjoy this one. It says it is a laugh-out-loud novel about a single mother who is determined to bake until she makes it to the top of Britain's favorite feel-good baking show. So I recently watched a little bit of the Great British Bake Off, so we shall see. And the last one I have did not come from a book swap, a bookstore, or whatever. My friend left this on my desk at work and thought it looked like something I would enjoy. And it is The Rose Gate by Hannah Sandveeg. And this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. There is some fae in there. The cover is actually kind of cute. I kind of dig it. And it looks like it's the first in a series as well. Other than that, I don't know anything about this book. I just decided to take it home. And that is every single book that I picked up since my last book haul. Obviously, my unread TBR books just skyrocketed, and while it hurts a little bit because I was slowly bringing it down, this just gives me more incentive to work even harder to bring that number down. So that is all I have for you all today. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every week, so click subscribe so you can be updated for when I post those. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!
In the darkness, I don't feel so cold.